I think we need to give a big round of applause for somebody. This guy works a full-time job. He's got 5 kids. He has a 6th kid on the way. He created the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joe Bruen. It had to be done, but thank you for giving us this reason to all be together, and it's going to be a great night. And with no further ado, let's get into our first member of the class of 2018 for the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Please welcome our inductor, ladies and gentlemen. He is one half of the closers. Please welcome Hammer Tunis.
To open things up here. And the closer, the opener, come on.
That's right. Do not put that drink down, my friend. No, bring it up here. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come on up. Hammer Tunis, ladies and gentlemen. No. We're not. This isn't about me today. This is not about me. This is about my friend, my mentor, my former tag team partner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about the 2018 class of the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Aaron Morrison and every other inductee. Let's give him another round of applause. This is my nightmare coming up here and opening this thing, because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of great speeches, and we're going to hear from a lot of people that are really influential in New England wrestling. People that probably talk on the microphone a little better than me. What I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about Aaron Morrison the person. And I say Aaron Morrison the person because Aaron Morrison is a 2018 New England Wrestling Hall of Famer. Never a gimmick, never a character, always himself. And that's how Aaron lives his life. That's how Aaron has always been since the moment I've known him. I met Aaron about 10 years ago. The very, very first independent wrestling show I ever went to. I walked in and Aaron Morrison was in the main event, and there was some kid in the crowd that was just being obscene and obnoxious, and I'll keep it PG as to what he was doing. But Aaron had about enough of it by the main event, asked security to remove the kid, no go on the security, so Aaron rolled out of the ring and did it himself. And all I remember is walking away with all my friends and going, that show, I don't know much about it, but that guy in the main event who kicked out the kid doing the gestures, he was pretty good. And that guy in the opener in the purple singlet that said Idol on the side, he was pretty good. So it's fun to come full circle and be here and see 2 of my closest friends, my mentors, my confidants, and 2 people I really care about get inducted. And that's absolutely enough I'm going to say about Johnny Idol, because I don't have anything else to say about him. Aaron Morrison, since the moment I met him, everything everybody told me, Aaron Morrison work ethic, Aaron Morrison work ethic. And I didn't quite know what that meant until I got to step in the ring with him a couple times, and then had the fortunate circumstance of being selected as his tag team partner for a few years. And what I learned under the Aaron Morrison learning tree, invaluable, can't be replaced, can't say enough about it. Anything I've ever accomplished in wrestling over these last 9-10 years has been because of Aaron Morrison and what he's taught me. Bringing me around to shows all over, watching him put matches together, watching how he went about performing in the ring. The respect that he got from other veterans around instantly gave me respect and credibility. And I was presented with circumstances and opportunities that I never would have gotten if it wasn't for Aaron Morrison. So Aaron Morrison, from my bottom of my heart, my personal thank you very, very much. "20 years, Aaron Morrison, the wrestler, has been performing in the ring. And in a business where everybody always tries to take, Aaron Morrison always gave. That's his reputation. That's what the Aaron Morrison work ethic is. Whether it's in front of a crowd of 30 people or 300 people, Aaron Morrison is going out and busting his hump and putting on the best possible match he could have in front of any crowd, anytime. And he doesn't just go out and try to make himself look good. That's not what wrestling is. You go out and you try to make your opponent look good. You try to make the show look good. And that's what Aaron Morrison did. From being the first person at the building, putting the ring together, years and hours of ring crew, beyond what he needed to do. showing up, putting on the best possible match, making his opponent look as good as he possibly can, making the promoter and the promotion look as good as he possibly can, all over New England for 20 plus years. Aaron Morrison is that man. That is the Aaron Morrison work ethic. And between his wrestling, his training of countless wrestlers over the last 20 years, or just performing in front of you guys, Aaron Morrison, the man, has given his heart, his blood, his sweat and tears for all of us, out of nothing but the betterment of professional wrestling, which he cares so much about. It is my distinct honor to welcome my friend, my mentor, my former tag team partner, one of the kindest and most sincere people I know, Aaron Morrison, into the 2018 class of the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
So this is going to be the first time in a couple of years that my beautiful fiance is okay with me going first. I'm going to take you back a lot of years. 1978, I believe it was. I'm on the way to my friend Paul's house because he had hockey sticks and I was obsessed with hockey. I get to his house, he's like, Aaron, get your ass in here, get your ass in here. We have to watch wrestling. Like, what the hell is wrestling, man? Is that stuff those guys do rolling around in high school? I got no time for that. Let's go play hockey. He says, no, man, we're watching wrestling. He turns on the TV, and what do I see? Jimmy and Johnny Valiant coming to the ring and beating the absolute tar out of a couple of enhancement talent guys, and I was hooked. So Jimmy, thank you. You set an obsession in an 8-year-old child that has lived on to this day. Fast forward a few years, I trained with a guy named Kevin Landry and Johnny Idol and Dean and Dave Liptek. It's a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to keep my stories kind of short so you guys can get everybody else up here. It's a Sunday afternoon. We have a show later on that day. Paul Roma's at the gym with us, training a couple of his guys. Everybody leaves. Paul says, Aaron, stick around, man. Let's get a little more work in. So I'm like, all right, what do you want to do? He goes, we're going to wrestle. I'm not going to fucking plan anything. We're going to wrestle. So Paul bounces me around like a Super Bowl 9 Ways to Sunday, hits me with a bunch of different moves. He gets me in a hammerlock. I remember a spot that I saw Brett and Owen Hart do. I shoot a drop toe hold on him as I'm rolling over to get him into the headlock. By the time I get my hands together, he's got me back in the hammerlock. He goes, I don't fucking think so, kid. Not today. So I get to that show later on. I'm late. Dean and Dave Liptak want to punch my face in. Kevin and John are yelling at me for being late. And the only thing I can think of was when Paul Roma is going to take some time and show you some things, you stick around. Why? Because that's Paul freaking Roma. And he got wrestle just about anyone. On the same token, there's a lot of guys that you look up to that tell you you're not good enough, you're not big enough, you're never going to be anything more than a bit player. And you got two choices in that process. You can say, you know what, you're right, I'll just accept my fate and I'll just be an okay guy. Or you can say, screw you, man, I'm going to look in the mirror, I'm going to talk to that guy, and I'm going to say, I'm going to be the best that I can. And that's what I always tried to do. I never was satisfied with giving an audience their money's worth. Why? Because I trained with Paul. And if you can give your audience money's worth, any monkey can do that. You can put a circus monkey with two cymbals clapping like this and give an audience their money's worth. But we as professionals have to strive to give them more. Every time I got in the ring with Bryan Fury or Johnny Idol or Alex Arion or Sonny Goodspeed or anybody else, we did just that. Because giving the audience their money's worth wasn't good enough for us. That's why we're here. That's why we are in this position, and that's why we're being recognized. Was I as good as any of these guys? No. Bryan Fury could wrestle circles around me any day of the week. Johnny Idol punched my face in the ring countless times. Alex Arion, I think I threw up after wrestling him once. But we do it because we love it, and we give the audience what we can and more than they paid for because they love it. I'm going to finish off really quickly with a story that a lot of you have heard. This is one of the funniest things that ever happened to me earlier in my career. I get to a show in Cape Cod. I'm getting my boots on. I'd already said hello to everybody. I'm in a corner. And all of a sudden, basically an eclipse goes by. I look up, and there's Tony Atlas. Big, giant Tony Atlas, who I've watched a million times on TV, and I completely looked up to this guy. All of a sudden I hear John giggling, I hear Kevin and the twins giggling, and I'm just like, oh, okay, something's going on. So I'm tying my boots up, and all of a sudden I hear, and please, everybody, I mean no disrespect, but if you know Tony, you know the voice is as spot on as I can get it. How you doing, little man? I hear you're one of the new wrestlers here. My name is Tony Atlas. It's really nice to meet you. And I look up, and there's Tony wearing nothing but a Superman t-shirt that would fit my daughter, Kendall. And I look up, and I see this gigantic Virginia black snake about this far from my face. And I'm like, wow, if that's the black stereotype, I wish I could have that. Holy shnikes. So he keeps talking. They say, how long you been working, little man? And every time he says something, he's getting a little bit closer. And a little bit closer. Ah, so, you know, I hear you pretty good. Kevin trained you pretty good, huh? And I'm like, yeah, Tony. And as he's about, I don't know, about that far from my face, I'm like, okay, I either got to touch this thing or I got to get out of this somehow. Because something's got to give. So I look up and I'm like, Tony? Yeah, little man, what's up? I'm like, this shipyard just called, and there's an oil tanker that's getting away. So could you take that thing and tie the fucking ship off and leave me alone? That started 20 years of conversations with Tony and everybody else that I had the privilege of being in the ring with. It's something I will never forget, just as much as this plaque, just as much as every match that I've ever had with anybody in the audience or anybody that's not here. So for anybody who says I don't deserve it, right there, pal. Yeah, right there. Because you know what? Like everybody else, I work my ass off and I earned this. Just like all of us, just like everybody else. And if you don't like it, too bad. I got a skinny Irish ass behind me that you can kiss. Just put on some chapstick so your lips don't turn brown. Thank you.